Do a smile.
It's fine. All right, now I've got y'all report.
All right. Okay, now let's watch the speech.
Okay. Today I will be showing you how to properly set up a brand new rig. Fishing is one of my favorite pastimes, but one of the hardest things to do is once you go to the store and you purchase a reel, that's just the beginning of it. After you purchase a reel, you can take it home and get it set up. Alright. For this demonstration, I'm going to show you my reel. There's many different type of reels you can use. This is a bait casting reel, but also they own spinning cast. With bait casting, in my opinion, it's one of the better reels, one of the sturdier reels. This is a 6.5 foot pole, medium heavy action. What that means is you can go off for larger game fish. Now, with the bait casting, I think you have a lot more accuracy when you cast. With spinning cast, you typically can get further, but you're not going to be as accurate as you can. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using this bait cast. This is my Curado bait cast. Again, 6.5 inch pole, medium heavy action. Right. Now, the first step after you purchase a reel is to set up the line. Now, there's many different types of line and there's many different types of size and weights. Now, with bait cast, it's best to use anything above 10 pounds. If you use 6-8 pound test line, when you reel it up in your spool, sometimes you have grooves and the line can get caught in between the grooves. And what that means, you're not going to be able to cast as far and you get a lot of catching and it's not as smooth as it is. So today I'm going to be using a 12 pound test monofilament line. The thing about monofilament line is it's essentially invisible on top of the water. When it hits the water, you don't see any lines. Where you have a lot of the carbon lines, with that it's invisible underwater, but if you're using top water, you see a lot of line. Alright, the first thing you want to do is grab your fishing line, pull it out of the spool, and you're going to go through the eyes of your reel. You're going to start from the top, go through the eyes, just feed it down, 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 down. And when you get to your reel, you're going to want to tie it off on the spool. Now, once you have it tied off on the spool, a simple knot. You don't need to beat too much. You don't have to put a lot of time and thought into it. Just use a simple knot. Now, as you're reeling it in, be sure to put a little bit of pressure on the line so you can get a smooth retrieval, because when you retrieve, there's a line guide in here, and what it does is go back and forth as you're retrieving it. And so as soon as you reel it in, make sure you have that tension so you can get a good clean line. Now, once you have that all set up and you have it pulled, now comes my favorite part, setting up the bait. Now, for this demonstration, I'm going to be using what they call a Texas rig. Well, with the Texas rig, it essentially stands for a hook. This is an offset hook. I think this is about a size 4. Offset, great for going deep underwater and things like that. Now, with the offset hook, you have your hook, you have your weight, and you have your plastic. Now, first off, be extremely careful with these hooks. These hooks are incredibly sharp. Now, once you poke yourself, that's not a big deal. But if this thing goes past the bar, you got problems. You're going to have to go to the doctor and get them to remove it. And trust me, from experience, it's not a fun experience. All right? Now, let me grab my line. I want to release, detach, pull a little bit of line out. So got that bit there. Got enough. Perfect. Now, I give myself plenty of room, so if I mess up on tying the knot, you can go back and fix it. Now, first thing I want to do is get me a weight. This is a bullet weight. This weight is probably about, I don't know, 16 ounces. That's what I like to use. Not one 6 ounce, not 16. That's almost a pound. Now, what I do is feed it through the eye. Can you see that, Lindsay? Feed it through the eye. Now have it free hanging. Some people like to tie their weight on. I don't. I like to let it flow on the line freely. And this is a good bullet weight. It's not inexpensive. It's a nice bullet weight so it doesn't drag and tear up the line as it floats. The reason I like to allow it to fly, because when I go to cast and I'm dragging it off the bottom, hopping it off the bottom, this right here hits on the top of the nail. at the top of the hook. And as it's bouncing off the top of the hook, it's going to create vibration and noise, and it's going to attract a lot of fish. Okay. As I move on, right here, another important part is getting the proper knot on your bait or your hook. Mine, I use what they call a clinch. What a clinch is, one of the best knots out there. They've done a lot of research and a lot of tests, and it's one of the strongest knots you can have, and it doesn't take up a lot of space on your line and your hook. So with the clinch knot, you take your line and you twist it around about 5 times. And then as it's twisted around 5 times, you have to bring it over the line, through this loop, and back up. And there's your clinch. And you tie it, and you got a good knot. Now, what a lot of people do is what I do, and I think it actually helps out. I like to wet the line. A little bit of lead, you got water or something, just wet the line. What that's going to do is when you're tying the knot down, it's going to release a lot of friction. And you don't want that friction on the line, because the worst thing you need to do is when you're landing and you're hooking a big fish, you lose your knot. That is one of the most disappointing feelings you can have in the world, because it's nobody's fault but your own. Okay? And so now I got the knot, I got it tied on, I got the weight free flowing, and see, now I got that noise, that action. And so when it's dragging along the bottom, it's going to attract a lot of fish. Alright, now the type of bait. The type of bait I'm using, the plastic, 6-inch worm, pumpkin green. I have the most success with this, especially in the middle of the day, because the big fish go down and I can go down and get them. Now, basic worms, what you want to do with the basic worm, feed through the top, go about as much as your offset hook, come back, fill up, and once it's there, you want to pull it all the way up here and eliminate so it looks as real as possible. Now, what I like to do is I like to guide and see how much I want to do before I set the hook. I go right here in the body part, come out, pull up, just grab a little bit of it, because what this is a weedless rig. So I can go through weeds and I can go through anything, and essentially it's going to hang like that and it looks realistic. Now, this right here is a Texas rig. I personally, it's one of my favorite rigs out there. A lot of people like Carolina. I like Texas rig because it gives me more feeling, it gives me more accuracy when I'm casting and everything. Now, this is a Texas rig. This is how you set up a brand new rig. I'm Antonio Hunter. Have a good day on the water.